All right, what's going on, guys? William Barry here, coming at you live from the power of the internet. Make sure all the audio levels are fine. Oh, yeah, because we got to do that these days because the universe fucking hates me.
My therapist.
Whoa, you just starting right out? Talking, Ren? Like, Jesus, doggy dog? All right, now let's hit play. Make sure
My therapist.
Yeah, it's moving. That thing is moving. All right, we're going to be gooching.
Was scowling at my weekly anxiety and depression scores like a detective trying to crack a particularly stubborn case. There were no signs of improvement, and the scores followed no real measurable pattern that were consistent with bipolar. After nearly 2 years of talk therapy and taking enough medications to fill a pharmacy, he sat down with me and he dropped the bombshell that he didn't think that I had bipolar. In fact, he said that he didn't think that I had depression at all. And it was a very odd thing to be stripped of an identity in an instant.
Yo! Like, think about what that means, man. To go through years of like hunting through like a depression that people told you had, that may like, and they're like, they're doctors, like they're trained like you are, it's intrinsically built into you to trust them because they're like the most qualified people in the room that they're in, probably at any given time they're in the room, you know. And for you to put all that trust in them and them to come out and be like, oh, actually, we might have fucked up. We might have made a mistake here. Like, how do you fucking reconcile that, in all honesty?
He dropped the bombshell that he didn't think that I had bipolar. In fact, he said that he didn't think that I had depression at all. And it was a very odd thing to be stripped of an identity in an instant. The reality was that a 20-minute in and out consultation 2 years ago led to 2 years of swallowing pills that I never needed. And
damn it, bro! In and out led to 2 years of grief, anxiety, and bullshit. I know it's not directly related, but there's a reason why people say, be gentle with other people. You have no idea where they're at in their life. So many things live beyond the initial echo, like the moment. Like, it's within the residual echoes and side effects of an action that, like, life happens. And everything has a ripple effect, man, no matter how small, insecure. Even something as simple as someone leaving a nice comment every once in a while. Just seeing one of those, and you're like, whoa. Like, just the amount of effort that doing that small thing can put into the world is crazy. Yeah, it's a fucking trip when you actually start thinking about how just like stopping at a stop sign could save someone's life. You know what I mean? Like, what if someone like fell like from in between cars by accident, you know, or they tripped or they fell out of their car or something, they could land, you know what I mean? Like, no one should be going that fast, but like there's just so many small things, like leaving fucking marbles out, bro, has caused so many accidents throughout history, and according to TV, like, god damn it.
in and out consultation 2 years ago led to 2 years of swallowing pills that I never needed and devoting so much of my time to managing the condition that I never actually had. The emotions inside me swirled around like a mismatched soup. On one hand, I was full of anger and I was bitter about the whole situation, but I was also hopeful that this new path could offer me the relief that I desperately needed.
Yeah, dude, that makes sense. Be so mad at the people that did it, but then like, at least it's not depression. We're moving in a different direction.
But I was also hopeful that this new path could offer me the relief that I desperately needed. He told me he was going to refer me to an ME clinic in Bath. I'd never heard of it before, but instinctively true to character, I started researching it online as soon as I got home. Apparently ME is the medical equivalent of a choose-your-own-adventure book, with tiredness as the only consistent plotline. There were no universally accepted reasons as to why the fuck it existed in the first place. It seemed it was largely accepted to be a post-viral condition, but that was all speculative because there were no clear consensus in the medical community what ME even was. The defining characteristic was a tiredness that wouldn't go away with rest. I could relate to this. In fact, I could more than relate to it. For anyone lucky enough to have not have experienced this, if you want an idea of what it's like, force yourself to stay awake for 3 nights in a row. During this time, eat the food that makes you feel terrible, and in this sleep-deprived state, exercise until your muscles give out. By the 3rd day, you'll have a small insight into living with this condition. During the years post-stem cell transplant, where I recovered a lot of my health and functionality, I remember getting COVID and thinking it was a walk in the park compared to the first year of my illness. The difference was COVID lasted about a week. The thick of my illness lasted 8 years, and it only was getting worse. I pinned a lot of hope on going to that first visit at the ME clinic. It was a 6-month waiting list, God bless NHS wait times, but I felt excited to be surrounded by people who would understand me, where I could climb out of this nightmare. But my hopes were pretty quickly crushed during that first visit. I remember walking into a space that looked like a disused classroom where a bunch of people on chairs were sitting around in circles like Alcoholics Anonymous. I could feel a sense of camaraderie in that we all felt like dog shit. We were all confused and we were all desperately wanting to feel better. I believe at the time I was probably the youngest in the group. The group leader waddled in and handed us all a booklet that looked like a school timetable. She then sat us down and told about this new revolutionary technique called pacing, where you write down and track everything that you do in a day, and then you do it less. And then with time, do it more again. The theory being that you have a limited bucket of energy compared to normal people, and you need to protect that and gradually push it. I thought this sounded pretty stupid, so I raised my hand. I told her about the pain in my body. I told her that my muscles twitched constantly. I told her that my bones ached. I told her that my mouth was dry. I couldn't focus. That some days they'd be without mercy and I'd be trapped in bed for the whole day. But the days that I wasn't, I wanted to make the most of it. I wanted to breathe the air and I wanted to live. She told me she understood it's hard, but she didn't really offer more than that. She just pointed at the booklet and told me to follow it. I asked her about things like heavy metal poisoning, about chronically reactivating viruses, about defective mitochondria, about all the things that I read that were linked to chronic fatigue, but she just raised an eyebrow, looked at me like I was a hypochondriac and told me she knew nothing about those things. I remember walking out of the building feeling disheartened and defeated, so much so that my legs buckled as I was walking home. I began to sob uncontrollably on the side of the road.
God damn it, man. What would you do if you were that troop leader or that group leader or whatever? Like, what do you do in a situation like that? Because you want to give people hope, but you don't want to give people a false hope. Interesting. Because what if you lead someone, you would hate to lead someone on the path of like 2 years of medication or extreme dieting or doing something that they might solve a problem that may not be there, on just the off chance that it could be something like an undiagnosed or something. Like, I don't know, man. I would hate to give that false confidence to somebody when they spend a big chunk of their life to like do it. And it was all just hogwash bullshit. I would feel dreadful. No, sir.
I was walking home. I began to sob uncontrollably on the side of the road. An old woman knelt down to comfort me and asked me what was wrong. I didn't even really know how to explain, so I just told her that I missed my friend. Despite my skepticism, I stuck to the program for at least half a year, and I kept going for my periodic visits to the clinic, and it did jack shit. In fact, I got worse. I was always getting worse. One thing that particularly struck me about the ME support groups was the pure desperation and confusion. With most other conditions, you're given a diagnosis, a prognosis of whether it's going to kill you, and what you can do to manage it or cure it. With ME, you don't get that. You get an indeterminately long sentence to purgatory. You feel worse than you've ever felt in your whole life, and you're given no explanation as to why, and no signpost pointing the way out. There was no selection bias to the people suffering. Members of the group were anything from esteemed ex-lawyers to single parents to former athletes. One thing I can say, these people were for the most part all extremely driven and collectively mourning their old lives. There's a stigma that because ME's predominant presentation of symptoms is tiredness, that its victims are just being lazy. I can tell you firsthand that me and every single person I've met with genuine ME would rather run 1,000 marathons than have to live another week with the tiredness and the unrelenting fatigue. We were at war with our tiredness, trying desperately to escape it, and some of us would go to extreme lengths to turn ourselves into guinea pigs to try and find ways out. Suicide was pretty common in those online support groups. It was around this time I was swallowed into the music industry. I was out busking on the streets one day and I noticed this sketchy, good-looking Mauritian guy with his arms crossed watching me, really intensely, as though he was studying every lyric coming out of my mouth. He approached me and asked me if the songs I was singing were mine. I said they were. A big smile was painted across his face, and he told me he just finished recording Plan B's latest record, which turned out to be The Defamation of Strickland Banks, one of my favourite albums of all time. He was looking for a new project to sink his teeth into, and he asked me if I'd come to London to record. We got into it. The whole time I felt dreadful, but this was a lifelong dream materialising in front of my eyes, so bit by bit...
Yo, what the fuck? Oh, it's so gangster. This is why I always say, man, do the things you love in public with other people. Just do that shit. Like, this kid, he turned a hobby into a potential career because he put in time, got talented, and then he put himself out there. For those of you that are on the cusp of being creative, either it be artwork, drawing, stories, YouTube videos, you can spend way too long in the planning phase. It doesn't matter if it's the best thing you've ever made. Just start putting stuff out. Just anything. Though it's hard to take that advice from someone who's quit so many projects. But the problem is I get stalled in the planning phase. I start wanting to build up all these big ideas, and then I get stuck on, well, what if I do this? Or what? How can I edit this? Or what? And then nothing happens. You get stuck in paralysis, and then a bunch of time's wasted. Like, if you got ideas, use them, put them to stuff, make them reality, then put them into the world. Even if people laugh, like, that's the point. Even if it's bad, the stuff you start at is bad. My first reaction was terrible. My 100th reaction, still terrible. But just do stuff. Put it out there. Eventually people will see it, and they'll give you criticisms on it. And if you really care about what you do, you keep doing it. Ren did that, and he got a fucking guy to like, oh shit, I can make a star out of this boy. You know what I mean?
Felt dreadful, but this was a lifelong dream materialising in front of my eyes. So bit by bit, when I could, I get the train to London and start chipping away at my first ever album. I didn't really let on how I was feeling during this time because I didn't want to sabotage it. There would be times I'd finish up in the vocal booth after doing the take, excuse myself to go to the toilet, throw up from the dizziness I was experiencing, sometimes with specks of blood, and then I'd go back and pretend that nothing had happened. I'd be sitting around with the whole room spinning and would pretend I was fine. There was only so long that I was able to keep this up.
Damn.
Eric told me it'd be a cool idea for me to start going to industry showcases and start building buzz. Performing live like this was a whole new level of taxing that I wasn't ready for, but I was so ferociously ambitious that I just ploughed through. The usual way it would go is I'd be in the back of Charlie's car, the whole world would be spinning, I'd be trying my best to sleep in it all day, parked up outside of whatever venue or pub it was in London, trying to conserve energy for the show. Sometimes I'd cry a little before I performed. My whole body would be burning. Then I'd brush it off and I'd get on stage and I'd perform as best I could. People would come up to me at the end, pat me on the back. I'd smile and pretend to be charismatic. Then I'd get back in the car and I wish I was in bed and have to endure a 3-hour drive back to Bath from London. There was only a few shows where I could keep pretending. I'd usually be trying to disguise the fact that my body was trembling through the fatigue and pain. Eventually I started crying mid-set. It became blindingly obvious to everyone working with me during that time that something was very wrong. I told Eric that I needed to take some time out. My plan was to live at home with my mum for a month maximum, get my energy back, and come and finish the record. That 1 month turned into 2 months, turned into 3 months, turned into 6 months. I'd pushed myself to total burnout. The distance led to me and that angel breaking up, in part because it was difficult to navigate a relationship when you have so much brain fog, and I didn't know what it was well enough to be able to explain it to her at the time. With a loud thud, I'd been jolted out of a Shakespearean storyline. I lost the record deal and I couldn't get out of bed. My friends from Trick the Fox never really called to check up on me. It felt like the whole world was moving at lightning speed without me. I had this amazing opportunity right in front of me and I was chained to the floor. I was alone, I was sick. I wished that my condition would get it over with and kill me, but it wouldn't, and it felt cruel that it wouldn't. It just let me rot in bed. The whole world would continue to turn and I would rot.
The kind of like self-hatred that'll put on a motherfucker. The kind of like resentment that can create. They make you wish for some dark shit, especially when the whole world passes you by. That's why it's all about perspective and peace of mind. Like, your friends didn't get too busy with life. It's one way to look at it, like, but they're just doing like the next evolution of that life. It's not that they don't love you or don't care, it's just that there are immediate things in their life that demand their immediate attention. And most people suck at pulling themselves out of their immediacy. It's a rare few that can like, hey, I haven't checked in with so-and-so. Maybe I should send them a line. You know? It's very rare. Most people don't think about you until they need you. That's why I always say relationships are transactional. Man, it's a miracle that when he made it through, he became a good person on the backside of it.
It just let me rot in bed. The whole world would continue to turn, and I would rot. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you about a fight with a television and losing my anal virginity to an 80-year-old man.
What the fuck? So what song is this? See, this is where it's at. I'm a young doctor. I hope that I'll always remember your story and that I will use it in my work. Thank you. So there's two massive benefits. Yeah, I recognize her. There's two benefits to this story. I mean, there's a lot of them, but two of the main benefits to this story being told. One, to the people that are suffering with that kind of illnesses, it can give you hope, much like that circle was, the group circle or whatever that they were in, gives you hope knowing that like you have shared unity with people that are suffering under a similar weight that you were under. Not necessarily the same, but similar. So knowing that you aren't alone in your suffering. There's a reason why they like to say misery loves company or something like that. It's a fucked up saying, but it's also true that like just knowing that it's why you would listen to sad music when you're not sad or something like that, or why you want to listen to sad music when you're sad, is to know that you are not unique in how you're feeling. And if someone else can go through that feeling and be okay, it'll give you hope that you can do the same. So that's cool. That's a very awesome part. That's a majority of what people catch on to Ren for. But the real reason why Ren's music can be truly captivating is because of that comment right there. I'm a young doctor, and I hope that I will always remember your story and that I will use it in my work. Thanks. It can help improve those within the medical industry to be more empathetic to the situations that they're in, to be more cognitive while they're working with them. Not that they can't do those things already or that they aren't trying to do those things, because remember, doctors, nurses, and all these people, they're overworked, they're underpaid, and yeah, even doctors are still underpaid for what they do. I mean, they literally save people's lives. Some people might call them a butcher, but the level of stuff they have to go through and the stress and stuff that they're under while they're working, it's a different degree of craziness, man. All right, but let's get into this song. I think it was depression that's supposed to be at the end of this one. So he lost his record deal. His friends went on without him. Him and his girl broke up. And he had no end in sight for his illness. Let's see what level of angst my boy gets into at the zenith, at the height, or the center point of his pain.
My thought patterns are composed by a time bomb for an author, like pigs to the slaughter. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, breath starts getting shorter, running...
Jesus, all right, yeah, this is my style, all right. This is my type of music right here. Ooh, we about to get a little emo, Ren? Come on, bro, bring me back to the days.
My thought patterns are composed by a time bomb for an author, like pigs to the slaughter. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, breath starts getting shorter, running water. It's the state that I wish to become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb.
So he wants to be like water, like he's flowing, that he's changing, malleable, but he's stuck in concrete. I like that. Let's go. His breaths are getting shorter.
Author, like pigs to the slaughter. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, breath starts getting shorter, running water. It's the state that I wish to become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice of others. Don't tell me things will get better.
I can understand why someone would not want to hear that kind of response when they've given it time and time has done nothing. They try to say time heals all wounds, but some things it doesn't. Ren got very lucky with stem cell stuff. A lot of people that are going through what Ren was going through never get their cure. Sometimes in our ignorance, we say the worst things we could possibly say.
To become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice of others. Don't tell me things will get better, cause so far things haven't gotten better. I've got the sweater, poster child, bipolar, ADHD, therapist, wet dream. I don't want to talk about my father, I don't want to talk about my dead friend.
That's all they ever want to fucking talk about, man. As if retelling the same story the 100th time is going to give you some new insight or change something.
This wet dream. I don't want to talk about my father. I don't want to talk about my dead friend. I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself and realizing that talking about myself never ever helps. Still.
Fuck! One thing that sucks about therapy and the type of stuff that it does is I feel like it can make people self-absorbed. Because when you start to realize that like negative triggers happen, this can happen to like ruin your day, or you know, or you can start to self-actualize. It in proxy will make you more like, hey, this is what I need to do. Hey, this is who I am. Hey, these are my parameters. But I don't know if the word is like it makes you self-absorbed. It's just, it makes people fight for things that they would otherwise not really give a shit about. And then it can actually add more problems to different situations. Like my sister got really heavy into like the AAA lifestyle or AA or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. So like now when she goes to a place, the alcohol can't be around me, and like she'll just make an event about her. And it's like, okay. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't about you. Like, people shouldn't have to, like, adjust everything that they're doing to accommodate to your needs. But then, I mean, on the flip side, my dad does the same thing when he shows up and he's like, this is a really sad thing. Let's getting fucked up. Now, he hasn't done that in years, but when I was younger, my dad would go to a place, it's a funeral, he's going to get drunk. You know what I mean? I can't really say much. I haven't seen my parents in years. Or my sister.
I'm sick of talking about myself and realizing that talking about myself never ever helps. Still, I call for help because I really want help. But the pills didn't seem to help, and the therapist didn't seem to help. But still, I want help. I've danced with the devil in hell. I've sat in a prisonless cell, and here I always dwell, in this prison in myself. I do this thing where my mind travels back to the golden age. You know those times where you were carefree and everything.
I do everything in my power not to linger in the golden age. Because it makes me realize that it's just nostalgia, it's not real. But I fall down that every time I go venture my old streets, or I look at old photos, or I hear songs from my past. It's dangerous to live in the golden age, man. You should live in the now. You are not as fat as you imagine.
This thing where my mind travels back to the golden age. You know those times where you were carefree and everything was golden? The golden age. You know those times where everything was golden, where you were carefree and everything was golden? The hardest thing I ever had to do was come to terms with the fact that that time never really existed. I've always felt so fucking detached and broken, bruised and mismatched. Find it hard to relax, live.
What the fuck? Alright, this is usually where the Screamo guy does something wild. Ren took that in a different direction. Okay. And did you hear the bass come in? Ooh.
Thing I ever had to do was come to terms with the fact that that time never really existed. I've always felt so fucking detached and broken, bruised and mismatched. Find it hard to relax, living under the cracks. Tried to fill in the gaps, lying here on my back. Still, I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind declined it. Pulse increase and my sweat combines with a feeling so deep I fall inside it. Depressed.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, this is fire. This is experimental as fuck. I like this.
Living under the cracks. Tried to fill in the gaps. lying here on my back. Still, I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind declined. Pulse increase and my sweat combines with a feeling so deep I fall inside it. Depression, I hate you. Depression, your constant oppression. Respond with aggression. They say depression brings you lessons. Constant stressing conceals blessings. You will grow in broken settings. Fuck those lessons. Fuck depression.
Yeah. Fuck those lessons. Fuck depression. All right. All right.
I hate you, depression, your constant oppression. Respond with aggression. They say depression brings you lessons. Constant stressing conceals blessings. You will grow in broken settings. Fuck those lessons, fuck depression. I've been living in your shadow for so long that I forgot how I can shine. How I can find a refuge in my mind. How am I meant to sit here and unwind? The planets align.
He's doing something funky right now. He's like, he's being offbeat on purpose, and then he added in that, like, it sounds like a cowbell, but that's also slightly offbeat. Okay, all right, what's going on here, dude?
Lessons, fuck depression. I've been living in your shadow for so long that I forgot how I can shine. How I can find a refuge in my mind. How am I meant to sit here and unwind? The planets align. I feel like I'm cursed. Feel like I'm cursed to just be here to hurt. Feel like I'm cursed to just be here to bleed. But my demons been feeling this way since birth. Depression, I hate you. 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 Depression, I hate you.
He didn't even have a fucking YouTube back then, bro. How did I not get an ad for that? What the fuck? Damn, bro. I like his older shit so much better than his newer shit these days. Like, bro, that experimental shit, that shit's all over the place. I mean, Ren is good music all the way through and through. I haven't heard a single song yet, but this older shit slaps in a whole different way. Man, when people are in pain, the music is just so much better than when they're just happy. There's so much raw emotion and so much fucking... It just grip it by the balls. All right, well, that was another Rim video. I'm changing some stuff up on how I do... instead of every Sunday, I'm going to do a song stuck in my head. I'm going to change this up a little bit. Song stuck in my head is going to be once a month now, but it's going to be like a big... like edited project that I've been working on and off for the last like week. So that one's gonna come out soon, where it's gonna be kind of like Uncle Ray was saying. It's gonna be like music history, and I'm gonna like go over the song, the lyrics, and we'll break it down in a different format. Now with like a reaction camera and like that. I'm gonna go in, clean up the audio level. I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna ASMR your ass. So when that one drops, let me know. It's gonna be a lot of time put into that series now as a one big video a month while I do my reactions. But yeah, I got a few more things to do. We got a 10 mention react coming up soon, and then the song Prejudice. Then we got react to another video, and then the one for the other video was gonna be when Ren hit #1. The moment Ren heard that he hit #1, because that was requested over here by, let me get to the Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Where is that lovely? Yes. So Nina Robertson, she gave us, I enjoy your gorgeous voice and insightful and funny reactions. Good luck in the new job in life in Canada. Below are links to Ren's reaction to getting #1, the song he asked for to be played. Now, we already did Uninvited, but we'll react to that. So I got a few things planned today. You should see another video here in a little bit, and then I might even be able to sneak in a third one today, just because we've been kind of on the slower side. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace the fuck out. The game. See, look, you just can't get away.